play that they've consistently been against. But it may have prepared them for this, Scriv. We're getting into it. The pistol round's going live. We've got a Kit and dual Berettas bought up for Nemiga, and then Akuma are going to go relatively heavy on the nades, actually.
Yeah, kind of interesting to see, I think, in such an early portion of the game. Box on the Julies. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Hopefully gets a few kills in over there, but not looking too likely because the contact B is coming in at this point. A little bit of spam to figure out if there's anybody around, and I mean, it looks like we're just going for a very basic eyeball the smokes and charge in. They will be moving into 3 players, of course, so this could be a bloodbath. Yeah, they're following up. There's no faking around here, and they are not wasting any time on getting in there. Leah will manage to just bring off a couple of shots, manages to find the first head to the CT side. Needs to go massive, though, and it's just not going to happen for him. His teammates falling around him. The 3-on-2 comes in, as it's just Box and Lollipop from that A-bomb site.
Yeah, wanting to move through pretty quickly. In terms of the number of weapons each, it's 3-on-3, in theory anyway, so we'll see what Box can do there with the dual Berettas, but Lollipop needs to lead the way up close in the pit. There's a crossfire pretty much set up on him, stopping any sort of advancement from coming in. And while Sensei doesn't even give Box a chance either, just swings back towards the spawn. Clean little headshot found, and with that, it's going to be a strong start for Akuma. They take themselves the pistol. I said during the qualifiers and such, we were seeing a lot of, in general, just a lot of these anti-eco rounds being dropped. So I'm not going to be 100% certain that they have themselves a strong start quite yet until they're able to overcome this force buy, especially on a map here like Inferno. That force buy is always going to come in. You'll get a few smokes behind it, as you can see, which suddenly makes those MP9s and Deagles just that little bit extra viable. Yeah, indeed. So it's going to be a rough one. We'll see the Deagle getting very aggressive, though. Oh, there was a gap. Thankfully, he could fall back.
About. But yeah, we're obviously seeing these Deagles over the past few days, you know, as we're getting into hot competition since the update. These Deagles looking less prominent, as it were. Set up and ready. Lollipop, just going to go spraying on through. It's the 2-man setup, of course, that looks set to hold things down. And they do so. Really looking good here on the MP9s. They've dropped the bomb as well. This has gone south very quickly indeed. All down to Psycho. Against 3. Not going to happen. And Nemiga back in with the force buy. That looked all too easy for them.
Sometimes I dislike being Rice Griff.
Yeah, well. Sometimes. Nearly, you know.
Nah, I cause chaos. I love it. We jinxed it. We're causing chaos. It's going to be one of these back and forth games now. Although, of course, Akuma are going to have a slightly harder time making their force buy work. Not usually quite as easy. We'll see, though. They've got a Tech 9 in there. Good few smokes, so an execute will be available. They have a flash as well. So there's a small bit there to at least try and, at the very least, make it a costly round. I think is going to be the main goal. Try and take some of those weapons away at the very least. If they can fire back, if they can steal the round immediately back in their favor, though, that would be a pretty nice find. So we'll see what will be done. Very aggressive, anyway, from Nemiga early on. Just wanting the banana control. I don't think there's much that Akuma can do quite yet. And I was going to say, we'll have to just wait for that smoke to fade away, but they even lose a player, so I don't think the CTs are too willing to stay aggressive on Banana anymore. They can sit back, just drop a fresh smoke on it now, and just ensure those pistols don't get the close-range fights like they want to.
Yeah, I think they've played this pretty well so far, to be honest with you. And as we often say, you know, you and I have been doing this for a while, those first opening duels are kind of the hardest in a round like this. I think that's what we saw in the previous round from Akuma, right? They dropped a few too many players early on and just not able to cleanly trade because they hadn't got the information. They hadn't worked their way into the A-bomb site cleanly. They just kind of went barreling on in. A little bit of utility drop. Love to see it. Coming into play. They're going to go for this B execute here. Basic smokes. Just the one flash, I believe, to come over the side, and they will have to charge through a smoke themselves. Set up and ready once again on the Nemiga side. 2 quick kills. Looking good here, down to Sensei and Psycho. So even the 1 kill, I think, is going to be a challenge. Flying MP9 from JO, but Sensei now the only one left.
Doesn't even get a chance to pop off a final shot. Lollipop just swings around the edge of the smoke, so Yeah, no casualties at all. That's a much better attempt, you've got to say, on the anti-eco from Nemiga, managing to keep all 5 players upstanding. They'll have an opportunity now in this round as well to take another clean one, so it really is going to give them that opportunity to just build up the bank early on, ensure that they'll have a few gun rounds pretty much in the reserve. Akuma aren't going to have an easy way into this game, unless they can get a few kills here with the pistol. Sometimes we see that happen. Nothing being done when it kind of should be, with at least something in play. And sometimes these full ecos with Glocks, because the pressure's off, you try something a bit quicker, you try something a bit madder, sometimes you can find that success. So we'll see what the goal's going to be anyway. Nothing too crazy early on. It's pretty much just split across the map. Holding that default, not really using their numbers, at least in the initial few seconds. Actually already lost a player there, I believe, to the Apps aggression in towards Apps. Indeed, another fight going to be found. It's actually the Glock that wins it. All right. It was only the MP9, to be fair, but if that can be recovered, if a kill or two could be found off of it just to add to that economy, and, well, yeah, we're seeing it. Psycho's already gotten himself one. This is getting crazy. There's players at bottom mid. IDIS Balance is pushed through on the second mid. They're all over the place, and, well, at the moment, they're nearly getting caught. IDIS Balance just about hangs on. The MP9 again comes back in looking for more. And despite only getting that one extra, that's just still fantastic damage for such little investment, for zero investment, really, for Akuma.
Honestly, this is what we've tuned in for, isn't it? This is the CIS region, the expectant result. Love it. Absolute chaos. And we're only a few rounds in, so we'll see whether indeed that continues on. For the time being, it is, of course, Nemiga in the ascendancy. But with that damage done in the previous, you know, you come into this buy round, there's a good chance for Akuma to get in here. Oh, Jakey burning alive, and there's Molotovs everywhere. Somehow he finds a gap in between them, but surely does not want to be peeked into, or a nade to come over that broken wall. Not going to happen, but still a large chunk of damage that Nemiga have dished out.
Yeah, not a bad start, even if they're not quite 100% aware of it. As you said, also forced to actually still concede the banana control, though, so it's not a fantastic round in terms of the early control like it had been in some of those previous ones where they had kept the pressure on and really let Akuma get too much to work with. Instead, now they've got banana, they've got tons of time, and I think they actually just want to start moving forward. It is going to be a pretty much just pressuring on towards the bomb site right now. They do have the bomb, though, at the bottom of banana, so if they had have found some success, they likely would have committed it, but for now, I think are happy enough to just pull that smoke out to force some of those nades off of the B players, who they know are already pretty limited considering the damage, of course, that was done in that previous round. So we'll see what'll be done now as they walk back towards A. 40 seconds remaining. During the qualifiers, I had so many Inferno games where it came down to the time, especially with these guys, with Akuma, within the array as well, when they were playing. So I'm a little bit worried when we see them head towards A with such little time. But they've got enough at the moment anyway, especially considering they've found the site with only 2 players on it.
Yeah, certainly could be workable, but the crossfire, of course, always difficult to break apart. Lollipop set up for a couple. Can't get it done, though. The damage is in, but only the 1 kill, right? And I think that might make all the difference, to be honest. I don't know whether the remaining Nemiga players really want to go for this. And yeah, it looks like they are just setting up to save. So we'll see moving forwards whether Akuma can turn this one into many. Nemiga, of course, as we touched on, the money not quite there, but with these saving players, it will be. There's a lot of work to be done. But that competition, that back and forth nature from the get-go here, folks. So no messing around, as Akuma will move up to 2.
Yeah, this is what we want from them. It was a close one, though, considering the couple of those fights, at least in towards the bomb site, were pretty fragile. Could have went the other way, could have probably swung around as well, but Nemiga had made the incorrect decision when they rotated that third player back over towards B. It is unfortunate, but now they've got to see if they can fight their way back in. They've still got a decent enough investment off of it, surprisingly, considering how much damage had been done in the round before to them. This is a must-win here if they want to try and just get back to their winning ways. Stop Akuma from having any chance of building up an early T side, because if they get this one, then 4th is pretty much theirs for free. There wouldn't be a lot there for Nemiga to try and actually challenge them. good mollies as well as stopping the banana aggression that's been coming through so far from Nemiga. So you can see Akuma, they've clearly got some things in mind, trying to counter what they've seen so far throughout these early rounds from Nemiga. But at the moment, anyway, plenty of nades for that CT side, so they've been able to hold it off. We'll see if that's maybe an approach they take later on in the round, or maybe they just want to move really quick onto A. Yeah, they do actually. Straight up short Demku gets one. Lollipop's going to get a pretty solid spray down over on long, but he's lost his teammate now, and he's trapped out against the motorcycle. Needs to stand strong, and he's good for the one.
Oh, Sensei nearly on the spray down, but Lollipop, his work pays off. Massive stuff. As it did look a little bit dire, didn't it? Akuma moving in, going to get themselves that first kill. Lollipop, my guy. Especially that third. I think the third is pretty big. Double spray down, very nice. But getting the third kill felt like it sealed the deal, as they say.
Yeah.
So
if he went down on that, it would have been a 2-on-2 with the weapons and all for Akuma. So it would have been scary.
Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff so far. Oh, nade damage coming in though. It will be returned a little bit, but of course, as we always say, those 1-for-1s not really ideal for your CT side. We'll give up the banana control, but not before they've left their mark, that's for sure.
And lots of action was found back on banana, but now it's all shifted around to mid pretty much. Idis balance. He's in an awkward spot. Actually, he did have a molly, so that's going to help out massively now, especially as it's the Mach 10 that charges through, forces its hand. Won't be able to actually get the follow-up in Sergi. He manages to get the second on the Lollipop. Jo feels like he's forced to push through, wanted to try and find the one-on-one while the bomb was being planted, but he's not able to do it. Sergi from the pit again just pops up despite the low health and rips his head off. So that's going to be a round for Akuma off the back of a position where they didn't really have too much right take in it. It had been initially a pretty decent hold coming through from the Nemiga, but great entries. Did that initial kill up towards short, especially from Demku, was massive.
Again, bro, the speed and the chaos is there. This is one of the things, this is why I think, you know, I tout them kind of as the best of one merchants. It's because they can change things up at a moment's notice, right? It takes them like no time at all to go from a super slow 30-second remaining round into an incredibly fast rush. Same on the CT side. Finally seeing some apartments presence and Lollipop easily able to set up for that kill. Really well played to find the first. And again, going to back off, not give the chance back to Akuma. There's actually massive damage that's been done. So 5-on-4 looking really good right now.
Yeah, not bad at all considering the weapons they have. We'll only have the 2 towards B for now still, which might be the right idea. I was going to say the bomb looking like it was going to move in that direction, but they actually just tossed the flash up, move back over towards mid now. And at least so far, Nemiga haven't budged. They've still got the FAMAS here ready in place. A good setup in towards the pit then as well between the MP9 up on balcony and the Deagle here of Lear. So this is not going to be an easy one for Akuma by any means as they go forward. Idis balance though hasn't quite got the range with his long position. Gets the drop on the first man as he clears out the corner. So will at least be good for one before he falls. It keeps the man advantage for now in favor of Nemiga, but they've got to ideally waste some time here. Let those rotations come in. A little bit of a shot being popped off, distracting from the pit right now, hoping the MP9 can get the work done, and Lollipop can. He's good for the initial frag, never mind. Goes for a bit of a mad swing. As I said, they needed to waste time. They start to swing. Eventually, though, that flank comes through from Box, and he's going to be able to take out Sensei, leaving it all onto Sergi. Now, he had a fantastic round in the previous one, but with the time this low, there shouldn't be a lot that he can do. He somehow gets the bomb down, but that's all he's going to be allowed. There's no room, no space there for him to get the gun back into his hands. It's going to be a 5th round put onto the board for Nemiga.
Overwhelmed big time. But yeah, really well played, really well held from Nemiga using that initial advantage. Well, to their advantage. We'll see them pick up the double ups as well. Pretty worrying stuff. But yeah, you see here on the replay, it's simple, very simple indeed. And a few changes. Little bit of an off angle from Lollipop, right? Really nice stuff. To just, again, keep Akuma on their toes, keep them on edge, and kind of abusing them in a sense. What do you do from here? How do we approach this next round? Are they going to do the same thing? Are they going to do the opposite? Guessing games begin, and Idis balance with the aggression will not leave anything up to question as he takes down Sensei.
Yeah, you'd like to see the aggression for sure. Sensei doesn't, but For the moment anyway, he's not getting enough to actually go ahead and challenge that, which is a bit of a sucky thing. Obviously, with this being a best of one and would have been Inferno, I don't know if we'll really get to see Sensei challenging as much on the op. Maybe once he gets to the CT side, if they can get something going there, of course. But here on the T side, he'll be a little bit slower in that regard. But moving towards long, through the smoke, I don't mind the idea. Trying to burst through, see if they could catch someone on the other side. Sadly, Lollipop rather was still able to get away with 2 kills from that position, so he did a pretty good job then. Gave plenty of space for his teammates to come in and clean it up, and it's going to be Lear who gets the final kill. It's 6-3 for Nemiga. Getting things going as they kind of should be at this stage, having a relatively clean round there as well up against the Pistols. And should be able to have another shot here, with it being a full eco this time.
Might be one of the only rounds as well, yeah, that we've seen be won cleanly against a buy like that, right? Rather than it nearly coming close or it actually flipping the other way. So Nemiga's starting to find some stability and, of course, like you say, forcing this eco out. It all moves so fast in the best of one. It all has way more weight upon it, particularly for these teams that are sat in the O2 bracket. So Akuma going to have to pick it up fast. Of course, in this round, you don't expect too much from them. Their slightly bought up, upgraded pistols going to be dealt with quickly here. And it's looking good for a flawless one. So Nemiga going to set themselves up pretty well moving forwards, at least from a financial aspect.
Yeah, should be feeling pretty comfortable now at this stage, as you were saying. A lot of nades as well that they haven't thrown out in this round, so as long as they don't lose any of those, I was going to say they should be good. Decent find by Sensei. Actually just swings in on mid there and manages to get himself a bit of a mid-range Glock kill even, so not a bad find. 7-3, considering it was looking to be 0 casualties. The one will be better than nothing. But Akuma just pretty much need to get into winning ways now. We were saying during the qualifier, a lot of the teams in general, we were seeing the likes of Akuma in the array of points struggle to get the early starts going for themselves, which had been a bit of an issue. So with this being best of ones now, with them not having the luxury of the best of threes like we had in the close qualifier, you can't really let that happen. They need to get going right now. Heading towards at least 7 rounds really on this D side has got to be the goal. I think more would have even been preferable against a team like Nemiga, but we'll see what can be done. Jakey straight up banana. They actually didn't hang around, but they will come back in now, I believe, off the back of the flash, and indeed, no one actually ready to go ahead and back him up, unfortunately. It's a free kill for Box. The smokes are put down. A nade as well dropped on top of Psycho, does tons of damage, and things again just look dire for Akuma as the round kind of begins in despair.
Yeah, this is really looking rough, and I think that this kind of a discrepancy in rounds, it's going to need a hell of a CT side from them now. So, unless they can bounce back into this one, but so far, particularly from the Nemiga side, we've seen that the pick-based CS working pretty well. Not fluffing things up, not dropping. Ooh, silly kills. That nade a little dangerous for Psycho, but not going to meet the mark. What is the game plan here, boys? A little bit of a, off-angle setup. Kind of dangerous as Box goes down now. Just the AWPer at the back of the site. So B could fall. Definitely a chance. Jo is blind as hell. Trying to get some assistance in here. Is Lollipop. Jo going to go down. At least the rotations are in quickly, but it's a man advantage for Akuma. Bomb should go down, and actually a chance for them to bounce back into this round, dude.
Yeah, it's a really good find. Decent nade on Sensei. Unfortunately, not onto Psycho, the man who has low health. And Psycho's actually gotten himself the op to try and, I guess, negate that health a small bit. See if he can still have a small bit of input in towards this after plant. And indeed, actually plays first contact there. Catches Lollipop coming out of construction. Allowed DemQ then to pop up pretty much unexpected for Lear. And IDIS balance is done. He wants to run away and save this one. Akuma, strong hit in towards B, will allow them to get their way back on towards the board. But they're going to need to win a couple of rounds in a row is the issue now, because Nemiga, of course, they had taken a few clean rounds for themselves. They hadn't really been dropping much while up against those ecos, so there's plenty of money there, especially with the op being with it being the op that saved over, rather. He should be able to drop the box pretty easily. Maybe even give a rifle elsewhere to let the likes of Lear get more nades if needed, but I don't think they even kind of have to make that happen. He just buys for himself. IDIS balances. He's happy to disbalance the economy in his own favor.
Got him.
They don't have too much left.
Fair point.
I thought they'd have a little bit more.
Yeah, they very, very quickly got all the way down. Big man with the AWP looks relatively comfortable, but other than that, also Doesn't buy up full utility, doesn't have a kit, so that's good banter, but, you know, they're trying to min-max as best they possibly can. Oh, big nade damage to open up. So Akuma really looking good. Off the back of that, you know, they are on this little comeback train at the moment within this first half, trying to keep things as close as possible. And doing big damage like that is always nice. Now, it's unconfirmed, but look, man, 2 and 4, they're holding B. They've got a combined HP. Okay, it's just changed now as I was doing the math in my head, but it's 58. Now just 27 because JO's dead. And the world their oyster on the Akuma side. All this happens within the first minute. They can keep the CTs guessing. They've already split the defense. They could even go back towards B after showing presence on A. So someone, maybe Lollipop again, needs to pop off for Nemiga.
Yeah, he's been doing a good job so far. See if he can manage to make it work now. He's actually only moving back around from Moto, I believe, so it's more so going to be Lear on the bot side who needs to get it done. He's actually called in for the very quick help and finds the double spray down. Lollipop also good for 2. Okay, never mind. Sensei suddenly left alone. He gets popped in the face by Lollipop as well. I don't know how that works out so cleanly just for those 2A defenders, rather. Lear, obviously, with the initial double spray down, it was a fantastic transfer, but Lollipop just lines them up then. They didn't expect that second player on the bomb site. Kind of surprisingly so, because I thought he had been initially spotted when they were pushing through, but they were pretty focused on the pit, it seemed. I think understandably being worried about it, but they hadn't spotted anyone at all there.
Little unbelievable, and they will be kicking themselves big time. That was the chance to break the back. And they fluffed it. Big style, you know. Not even just like, oh man, they lost the 1v1 clutch. Unlucky timing on that. They were in the ascendancy, and it just crumbled. They couldn't even break into the A-bomb site. Rough. Very, very rough. And again, the best of one nature, they might not be having too many opportunities back into that, Dean. So you really do worry for them here on that Akuma side of things. Into the half-buy. Not expecting too much from this, but we'll see. We'll see. There's definitely potential to do that damage. And with the way this game's been going, definitely feels like this game is one of those where, yep, never write off the deagles, never call around before it's really ended. But the first kill for Nemiga comes in nice and easy. Nice and stress-free.
Yeah, not expecting a lot of stress anyway. These deagles, I mean, they can always do some damage, so you need to be somewhat careful. So far, considering how even the gun rounds have been going, I don't think Nemiga are going to struggle a lot. JO, little double spray down, has the backup from Box, who actually was the one to get to 2 initially. My bad. JO only finds his second towards the end, but he's happy enough with what he's been able to get done there up against that Eco. It's a strong round. Again, they at least bolster up their economy a small bit. They should ensure that if they're to lose this round, they'll have plenty going into the final round of the half as well. So it's pretty much given them the security for the rest of this half to go ahead and buy. And on the other hand, Akuma, they desperately need both of these final rounds to get up towards 6, to give themselves a position where they'll have a little bit of room in case that pistol round doesn't go their way. So it's not an easy position to be in for sure. IDIS Balance, though, he's been loving this mid aggression. Will peek in towards second mid. And found picks early on in the half with that, but hasn't really been given any chances since then. Hadn't gone for it. And as you can see, Akuma, most of their focus for now over on Banana, where they might find a peek coming in from Box. This is wild. Goes for on his own. The nade to follow up might do some decent damage, but it's an early man advantage now for Akuma. And this is a position we haven't seen them find for quite a while.
Yeah. Oh, now a 2-man advantage. Make it a 3. Okay, Jackie. Jeez, on the entries, back with a vengeance and punishes the overstep. You know, I think Box definitely a little bit overconfident, wanting to push the boat out, so to speak. How far can I go with this, you know? If I walk around this corner, are they going to be stood with nades out, not ready for me? That would be funny, wouldn't it? But, of course, not the case, as he gets clapped. And then, yeah, sets up the rest of the round for Jackie. Beautiful stuff. Save from Lear and IDIS Balance here to, I suppose, make the buy a bit easier into the next round. Even if they all go down, they should be able to buy relatively comfortably. But, of course, every little helps in this kind of situation. But with it being so early on into the round, you can see the chances of saving, they dwindle, because everyone's got money. Lear does find a couple, but that will be all. Like I said, though, the money's there, so it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be lacking too much. I think the nades maybe could be slightly better, but even then you can see Jo sacrifices the helmet, gets out the full set of utility behind it, and everyone else pretty much able to do the same. So Nemiga won't be worried anyway. Akuma, they've obviously got everything they could have won. Still like a little being carried over for DemQ, who I do think it's worth noting is having a slightly slower game. As I said, Sensei as well. It can be hard to get going on that off over on the T side, but we'll need to see them all have a massive uptick in performance once they swap to the defensive. They want any chance of making this comeback happen. And as we said, ideally, they'll want to do it with this 6th round in their favor as well. That nade is going to absolutely destroy Jakey. Considering he was such an important player in that previous round as well, this is not a good start for Akuma. They will at least force Nemiga back using their nades, so there's not going to be any followed-up aggression on towards Banana to actually allow for those finishes to come true. Oh, and the nade on Idis Balance does some pretty decent damage as well. So it's not the worst spot we've ever seen them in, but obviously with Jakey on the brink of death, with Psycho slightly tagged up as well, it's going to somewhat limit the, I guess, playmaking initiative that they have.
Oh, if he'd pulled the trigger. Will he make it out here? I think he will. Get a support to work with, but that was kind of anticlimactic. And you know what? Online, I reckon he pulls that trigger before he walks away. Because we're on LAN, because there's that extra level of tension, he's going for the super safe play and immediately
I think this is online,
got
actually.
out of there. What, for these guys? Are you sure?
Yeah, I think the CIS stuff is online, no? That's what it says on the brackets, anyway.
Fair, that's probably true. Trust in the brackets, of course.
I think it's only the EU one that we've got that's LAN, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
Smokes. Good damage, I was going to say, if they can just get a kill, even the setup for a retake, that wouldn't be a bad spot, but never mind. Akuma are going to actually manage to get themselves both entries. I think one man tried to bail out through the coffin smoke, got caught fading through it, and obviously then the mana bun boost didn't really drop down. He had nowhere to back off to, doesn't even get a shot off. Jo's going to get caught as the CT smoke fades, and well, obviously with it being the final round here, they are still going to have to move in. They wanted to move in as a unit. The hope was, as I said, for them to get that kill early on and then play for the retake, but it wasn't allowed. Well, maybe Lear and Lollipop can still get something done. They made that a little bit more successful than I was expecting it to be. But it will, in the end, be the 9-6 half for Nemiga. They have a very strong position. Akuma recovering a couple of rounds towards the end. But before we find out, rather, if they can keep that up or not, guys, we are going to have to go ahead and send it over to just a quick break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the second half here. And, well, as the game went on, Akuma, they kind of got back into form a small bit as well, Scriv. They were able to recover it back up to 6 rounds, which isn't ideal, but it certainly could be workable, especially if they can get this early pistol and hopefully not drop a follow-up anti-force this time.
Yeah, we'll have to see, right? I think that consistency in the early portion of that first half, they struggled with it massively. Jackie, speaking of struggling, is going to take a bullet in the face to begin with. They do have 3 players ready and waiting. It's a very similar kind of pistol round. However, Nemiga, way more aggressive, way faster, and way more successful. Disbalance, finding himself the easiest triple of his life. What the hell was that? He just walked through them.
I don't know. Honestly,
Wow.
He goes through and even gets himself the 4th kill in the end. He made that look easy. Charge the spawn with a Glock. Why not get up in the face of your opponents and just kind of impose your will? I guess that's a pretty solid way for Nemiga to come in and show what they're capable of on their T side. Right off of the bat, take that pistol round with a commanding victory, and then just kind of, I'd imagine they'll probably try and hope to do the same here. A couple of Mac 10s. So they're going relatively heavy on the rifles, but it's a bit of a mix by here. A safe unknown that they're going to be up against likely to force by.
Makes a lot of sense to me, I think, to be honest with you. You want to make sure that you are respecting, especially with the way that this game has gone, respecting the potential by that CC side. Oh, big nade damage comes in, and they will be flashed to high hell, so I think they themselves are starting to get cold feet with this banana push. First kill comes in onto Sensei. That's on the other side. Here's the flash, though. Oh, my goodness. So many kills, but it is the Mac 10 of Lear that bails them out, ultimately. Psycho will find another. My goodness. And to be fair, they take down 3. That also means that they've lost an AK within that exchange on the Nemiga side. So, pretty expensive round.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously the full force buy, though, from Akuma, so I don't think they'll be too happy with just a bit of damage considering the score, but of course, if they can come alive in this next gun round and actually go ahead and capitalize off the back of the damage that they've done, then it will be pretty positive for them, of course. But it really comes down to this first gun round. If they lose that one out, then there's just not really going to be any more chances, unfortunately, for them. You said that's the issue with it being the best of 1. See what can be done now, maybe with a couple of Deagles in play, which is the one rather it was actually. There's a P250 on DemQ. And indeed, already, Jakey's going to be taken down over on Bananas, so that should be pretty much the full control. I was going to say Nemiga likely to slow it down a little bit, but considering it's Nemiga, they might just want to charge into a bomb site and take some headshots for themselves. And while it's working so far, Disbalance has got himself another DemQ Fall. Psycho traded out the weapon, hoping to get a little bit done, but it's not going to be allowed. And I don't think the USB is going to do too much with the spam through the smoke. It does a small bit of damage, which is even more than I probably expected to come away with. So all on Sensei. Going as expected here, though, against the full eco.
Just waiting. Nice and patient. What? Well, close, you know. If he was ready for that fight, I think his crosshair was in the right place, but obviously he was in between angles, as to be expected. All right, here we go. Round number 19. We'll see what Akuma have got in the back foot. I think that there is certainly a lot for them to pull out in a round like this. Of course, the A1S is absolutely everywhere, and they do have plenty of utility. But what is the game plan? That's the big question here. They will go for the 3 towards B, looking to get a bit more aggressive, maybe. I am curious where this AWP ends up as well and what kind of play Sensei is going to go for with it. It's a short stack on A, and not very aggressive in Banana, despite having 3 players.
It's surprising. I think maybe hoping that Nemiga are just going to work in this direction again and that they could kind of have this one player take the initial fight, get a kill or 2, and perhaps pull them into the stack at that stage, not expecting the 2 players still there. The issue is, it looks like Nemiga are actually moving pretty quickly over towards A, so it's going to be a pretty tough hold for Sergi. He has got assistance here, of course, from Sensei in behind them on the AWP, but with them being wrapped on, it's going to be tough for them to hold this one down. Early advantage at least does go their way. Small bit of utility that they have pretty much with that smoke being put down, and actually just kind of forced to concede the bomb site, have to fall back in towards middle. It's a slightly awkward one. Disbalance is still lurking as well, and it wasn't quite expected. Jakey did check the angle, but wasn't actually ready for the man to be there. Lollipop eventually deals with Sergi over on short, and now we have a 3-on-3 as the bomb goes down.
I am bamboozled right now. I am so confused as to what is going on. Kills all over the place, and you know, the site dropping while they still had control of short. It's absolutely mad. They'll go for the Nico smoke here to try and work their way through. Down goes Psycho. Oh, and DemQQ, he thought he was in. Not going to be the case. Sensei finds his kill, but that will be the round. Nemiga, it is, like I say, very strange the way that they get there, but they will find it. That first rifle going their way after a clean conversion of the pistols. Well, this is bad news for Akuma, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's really not looking good for them. They could be on track for the 0-3 scoreline here in the groups, unfortunately. Nemiga, though, I think had to be my slight favorite coming in. Of course, they've got that bit more experience. They've just been around for a bit longer. We said Akuma have they've been on the rise. They've been improving at a pretty steady rate, I think, over the last few months. But with Premier, especially trying to adapt to those best of threes versus some of the teams on this level has been a struggle for them. And obviously, playing in some of their matches so far, it's been a struggle. To be fair to them, I think they were thrown straight in against Navi as well. Or rather, about to be thrown straight in against Navi now in our next one, and we're thrown straight in against Spirit initially. So it's not like they've had the easiest of games so far. Good nade on the Sensei. Actually avoids the second one mostly. It was the first one, I think, that done the majority of the damage. See whether anything, any finishes can be found off the back of it. And no, not really. It just forces them all away from Banana, which is more than good enough for Nemiga. Happy enough to take early control, put themselves in strong positions. But the up back around on long actually finds some success on Lollipop.
Yeah, got him. The old bait and switch. Oh, Jackie gonna find one. Will be traded out quickly. They know that Psycho's around. Needs that support. Not quite able to get it. Leg lands. Not over till it's over. I mean, it's a decision of finance now, whether they want to go for this. Yeah, AK retrieved and the AWP, of course, already in play, so they will move to save. Which is unfortunate, because you know what? I think I would have liked to see that one play out, especially 13-6. Going to be buying in the next round anyway. Yeah, sure, you'll get a cast injection with the weapons that you're saving here, but they could have done it. They could have done it, you know, in an alternate universe. I think there was certainly potential for them to take this round, but we'll never know. What we do know is that Nemiga move up to 14, and they are within touching distance of picking up their first victory here in Group A.
I think if they had a kid, they probably would have went for it. Just without it, I don't think it was, at least in their mind when they weighed it up, I don't think it was really worth the risk. And often an AK to carry over. It's a decent find, as you were saying, though. They're still going to be down 14-6, so it's going to be flawless from this stage forward now. Definitely would have been around that if they could have won, would have been a massive help. So I do think maybe even then, given the retake a go, could have been worthwhile. But they decided against it. It gives them everything they could ask for pretty much into this round in terms of the investment. But as I mentioned, they can't drop anything else. It needs to be flawless from this point forward if they want to be looking for the win here in the regulation time. So it's not going to be an easy task at all. They need to be just a whole level above what they've been so far pretty much throughout this map. As Jo creeps forward, there's two players up on the corner here, but they're tossing the nades deep, so they might not expect him to be so close already to flash over. Jo's got himself one, not quite good for the second, but he done good damage, which of course has set up that trade to come through from Lear, so it's a man advantage for Nemiga, full banana control. A little bit of a big jump there, I believe, to try and catch this player in the open, but no. They actually end up just handing him over the bomb. DemQ stands strong, not going to be able to find any more though, as he kind of overcommits to the angle in the end by sticking around.
And the madness kind of continues. Molotov will stop that default plant spot, at least for a second. Sergiz, going to get aggressive, just find the kill, leaves it all onto Idis Balance. Not able to deny the bomb plant. Nice wide spot there from Idis Balance. Molotov coming in, Sensei ready for it and takes him down. Akuma with their first CT-sided round. It is a lot of hard work, but they will get it in the end.
Yeah, mostly a team effort as well. Jakey didn't get to join in on that one, but I think we can forgive him overall. He's been one of the stronger performers for Akuma in what's been a relative struggle. You can't come down to one-on-one retakes every time with this current scoreline, Scrib. I think I need to see them taking a much more commanding victory in a few of these rounds in a row before I really start believing that we might actually have a comeback hand, I suppose.
Yeah, we're not quite getting the word comeback in there, are we? It's in a joking sense. This is where you type in all chat, you know, comeback is real. But
if it was matchmaking and Nemiga were matchmaking players, they would indeed be typing that.
But you don't quite believe it just yet on a serious note. maybe get us to 11. Probably more like a 12, definitely a 13, you know, to really, really send it home. So it does depend. J.O.'s taking a lot of damage early on here, but so far, pretty quiet in round number 22.
Yeah, it's been a slower one so far. I think for me, get up to double digits, and that usually only leaves a few gun rounds for your opponent. So I think that's when I normally start believing. But Nemiga could still very quickly shut us up here. If they can put an end to it right now, if they can take this, there'll be very little, of course, for Akuma to try and fight for an overtime. So that's why they're playing this pretty cautiously, knowing that they've spent pretty much all of their own economy into this round. They could be looking at an eco now in the following if they aren't able to make it work as well. So they want to try and end it while the scoreline still looks as one-sided as it does, pretty much. It looks like the focus, the bomb at least, and the majority of the players is going to be on towards A. Towards apartments for now. So it might be the drop out of balcony again. And to be fair to them, they found a lot of success with this earlier, but it was when Akuma had that much more aggressive hold up close on short. This time rather, things are a little bit more standard, so I'd imagine they'll have a better time actually trying to hold off. And, well, it's relatively dry, just the flashes over, no mollies, no smokes down, they just want fights, and it's not going to work out. Demq, Jakey, and Sergey all hold strong, taking a frag each, and leaving it onto J.O, who hasn't even budged with that up, he's just sitting back saving.
Maybe a bit too easy, boys. Maybe a little bit too easy. I think Nemiga, for me, this is where you take a timeout. They've not got the money to buy, but they're going to go for it.
Oh, we don't love this.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're this far ahead. I think both arguments are kind of valid. It's like, oh, let's save. There's no point wasting the time because we've got so many rounds. Oh, let's force. You never know what might happen, and we've got so many rounds. With the force, though, if this doesn't work out, absolutely need a pause in the next round. Because you are, you know, putting a lot of pressure into the next couple of rifle rounds. So, really want the pause. We've got the fast place coming in towards long, though. What the hell's happened here? Demq will take him down. Absolutely mad ride for the box, to be honest. But it's caught them out of position. It's caught them distracted. And the spin around from Leah. Bit of assistance, of course, to get it done. And this is why we go for the force buy, Dean. You might catch him with something a bit wacky. Able to find another kill here is Idis Balance. And the 4 versus 2 retake, not going to happen. Psycho's out of there and he's frustrated, bro. Shooting the plant pots. What did they ever do to you?
I shouldn't have doubted them. That worked so well. The time in that box managed to catch on the player who was holding from short. He's seen him run up mid and jump through the smoke. But I think he caught him as he was taking out a molly or a smoke of his own. So the player just couldn't shoot at him. And I guess this is something I want to play out for players who are play a little bit scared. Maybe sometimes they're afraid to push in or afraid to be the one to die. Box went in first, didn't get a single kill in this round, but because he managed to pull that player back over towards Moto, it gave them a much easier time than actually pushing forward. So without even a kill, their Box had managed to have some pretty decent impact just by creating so much space for his team to work with. So I think that was a pretty nice showing overall. As you said, it was necessary as well with the weapons that they had available. So it's 15-8 now. Nemiga, off the back of a round they had no right winning, managed to get themselves up the map point. And now Akuma needs 7 in a row if they want to get an overtime. There's absolutely zero room for errors now.
Yeah, literally zero, in case you are perhaps new to the game. We thought it was going to be closer than this, didn't we, Dean? We thought, honestly, we were going to get competition. Inferno, the perfect map for it as well. Akuma just not on the ball, not awake, even though it's, you know, like 3 o'clock where they are. So, no excuses, really, in that sense. Either way, pretty slow round number 24 so far. And Akuma have managed to get all the way down second middle. Specifically, Sergey. And there's potential, if he times this well, with that nade damage coming in as well, he could find himself a good 2 or 3 kills. He will get spotted early by Lollipop, so now, you know, the potential at the multi-frag not really there, but he's forced the rest of the T side to come back, to put the brakes on, to get caught distracted, and that's exactly what happens. 5-on-3, just like that.
Yeah, with all of the players just being on the brink of death also, so I don't think there's going to be much of a resurgence in this round for Nemiga. Should be Akuma's round. They've still got a player back in the spawn that has taken pretty much all of the attention also of 2 of these remaining Ts, including the bomb carrier. And as I said, with the damage that had been done, it's really not too difficult of a fight for Sergey. Eventually gets wrapped on and does go down, but at this stage, it just doesn't matter anymore. There's only 20 seconds left. He had seen the bomb there at the end of second mid as well, so he knows that it's not really going to be a push anymore. It's just a save that's been called for. The 9th round going to be handed over to Akuma, but I don't know if they'll be given really the space to go for such a crazy push out through the apartments again. So it's not an exact way that an exact formula right there, rather, for replicating the experience and managing to get this comeback now. This is something that they're going to need to keep up. Well, even with those saves, there's not going to be a buy here really, or a great one anyway, not coming in from Nemiga. A couple of rifles are going to be bought up, a Galil there on Idis Balance, maybe a pistol or two. I think I was going to say Lear is pretty low on money, but no, he's been dropped over a little as well. So they've worked it out slightly better than I expected. But this is the one that Akuma, if they take this, finally then a full eco comes in. They're up to 11, and suddenly there's only a couple of gun rounds to go.
Well, we'll see. Akuma, like you say, going to have to approach things differently. It feels like the previous round was more of a shortfall of the Nemiga default, and you can see they immediately change it up. You know, Lollipop just eyes on. He's not even getting aggressive. And, well, out towards Banana, we've got the double in from Box. Round in the bin. He's left on 1 HP. How very sad for Akuma. With a 5-on-3 to stay alive against all the odds. The B-bomb site of Inferno, one of the toughest bomb sites to retake in the game. They're going to have to do it with only 3 members.
A few nades at least. Molly on everyone. Some flashes, a smoke there as well that can be put down maybe towards Banana, but obviously Nemiga had nades of their own. They've been able to replenish that CT smoke. Running down the time, looking to just put an end to this one, and well, I don't think there's going to be much that can be done. Molly maybe to flush out some players. Again, though, to return a nade of their own and just not making it easy for Akuma. It's going to be a sweep